everyone, my name is Cecilia Chan, and today I'm going to present to you my project for 304 CEM Web API development. So for this project, I've developed a weather checker, and this is the user interface page to show my assignment. So first of all, we have the heading over here. It states weather checker, and we have a check here button and a list all button. The check here button, it actually links to this page whereby the user is able to search for any city, click the button, and the result is going to show over here. The list all button is going to list all of the search history, all of the city, the name of the city, the current weather, all of the lists, all in a page. So first of all, I'm going to show you the example. So let's say we are going to search for a city, and let's make it London, and now I'm going to click for the search button. So the result returns the name of the city, which is London, whereby I key in over here, and this is the current weather. The current weather is kind of cloudy right now, and the minimum temperature of the day in London is 289.26 Fahrenheit, and the maximum temperature is 294.82 Fahrenheit. The wind speed will be 2.6 and the pressure will be 1022. So let's try to click on list all, and this will be the history of the records that I've searched before, and the latest one will be shown here, which is London, whereby I searched just now. This is the current weather, and let's say we have Seoul, we have Ipoh, and we have the other countries. So when we click check here, it links back to the search page. And this is all for the user interface, and now I'm going to explain about my codes. So for my codes, we have the index.js, the JavaScript file for the index, for the main page, whereby we can see the searching page. So first of all, we declare the express, the data store. For the database in this project, I'll be using NetDB, and this is to fetch the data. The custom port, we have make it to 3000, so this file will be listening to port 3000. And this line of code, it returns in the console if the port listening to 3000 is successful. So it will show the starting server at, and this is the value that I have declared over here, the custom port and the port, which is 3000. So this is where we will declare the database, and this line database.load database, the parameters is to actually load the data from the database. So from line 17 to line 26 is the line where we get the data from the database. So we'll have a get method whereby we retrieve the data from the database, and line 20 to line 23 is where we try to get the error message. So if there's any error when we are running the codes, when we are trying to get the data from the database, if there's an error, it will show this response at the end. and return. So if there's no error, then it'll try to retrieve the data, supposedly. So to store the data in the database, we have this post method, and it gets from the API. And for line 31, we have the database.insert parameter data, whereby we'll get the data and insert it into the database. So the data will be getting from this API link, whereby I will explain later. So from line 37, we have this constant city equals to request.parameters.city. This is to explain that we have declared the city. This city is actually from here, where the user will search for the city to get the weather. So the city will be a constant, and it will get the request from the parameter of the city. And this location URL is where I use this API link to get the data. So here I will put the cities. So when the user key in any city, the value of the input will goes to here. And this is my API key. And this line is to actually fetch. It's actually to fetch the location URL, which means is to fetch this link, is to get the data. So this is my index.js file, and we have package.json. This is to actually we declare the name and the JIT, the express, the bash, and the database. So for style.css, we actually have a very short one to manage the paragraph of the list all. The style.css, the CSS format for this page, the paragraph is for this. So we're gonna put the text all in the center, and this is to actually set the background color for this one, the paragraph of this one, and to actually make the text to the center. So whatever the user looks for and what they search, the database actually keeps it over here, the database.db. So these are the results shown. This is all of what I've searched just now. So we can see the city over here, and this can be output at here, the list all page. So for the app.js, we have this constant button, get element by ID, submit. So this code is actually happens when the user click for the search button. So when they click for the search button, the code runs over here, event listener. So when it is clicked, it goes all the way here. So we make the city constant again, and it should get the element from the button, and the location URL will be the location from the API link and the fetch will be to fetch the data from the location URL, the API link, which is the open weather. And here we will declare what output we will try to show out, whereby this is the current weather, and yeah, we'll be showing the weather, the minimum temperature of the day, the maximum temperature of the day, the wind speed, and the pressure as shown over here. And this line 15 until line 20 is whereby we try to get the element from here and to make it here, and this will be linked to here. So the method we will be using over here is post. So this is for app.js, and next we'll have list.html. The list.html is the HTML file, the output for this one, for this page, the overall history of the search. So we can see the link over here is list.html. So I'm going to explain a little bit on this. Okay. So we're gonna have the title of this page, so I make it a weather checker. So this can be seen over here at the title bar of the browser, the weather checker. And we'll be using a little bit of the design from Bootstrap. So I'm going to link to the style sheet Bootstrap over here. And this is whereby we set the container and to make the text overall center, and the font color will be white for this one. And over here we make a hyperlink whereby when the user click check here, it should link to the list.html page, and when they click on list all, it should link to the list page. So list.js is the JavaScript file for this page, and that's all for list.html. Next we're gonna talk about list.js. So list.js, first of all we're gonna put this get data function, and we are gonna fetch and retrieve the response from the API, and this is whereby we declare the output of the result. So we have the city, the weather, the minimum temperature, the maximum temperature, the wind speed, and of course the pressure. So this is where we declare the value, the item.city, the value for the weather, the value for the minimum temperature, value for the maximum temperature, and it goes on for the wind speed and the pressure. So we're gonna show out the data for this one. And that's all for the list.js. Next, we're gonna talk about index.html. The index.html is actually the main page for the weather checker. So it's shown over here. This will be the index.html. So as usual, we're gonna start with a HTML tag, and it goes by with a head tag, and in the head tag we're gonna have this style sheet whereby we link the bootstrap to get a little bit design of. We're gonna retrieve a little bit design from the bootstrap and we're gonna apply it over here. So for the body tag, we have this body background don2.jpg and we make the height 100% for it. So the don2.jpg is going to result in this picture. The image background for this page, as you can see, is the don2.jpg. And the height equals to 100% is actually to make it 100% fit to the screen page. So we're gonna have a container, and of course some of the text center to make the text, to put it in the center in a nice way. And we're gonna set the font size to 50 px, and this whole line is meant for this one, the title. So over here we're gonna have the hyperlink for check here, and list all to link to list.html. So you can see over here the cursor has changed for this too because I declared the hyperlink file. Yeah. So for this line 27, we're gonna have a placeholder. Let's say for instance Kuala Lumpur. The placeholder is for this one. So it's actually to give a hint for the user to understand that what they are supposed to do for this search bar. So it should disappear when the user starts to key in something like this. So we're gonna have a little bit of design for the button. The search button is for this one. And we're gonna have another div, another divider for this whole paragraph over here. The city, the current weather, the minimum temperature, the maximum temperature, the wind speed, and the pressure is shown here. So this is the ID for this, and each of them, they have their own ID. And the JavaScript file that run behind this is app.js. So I think that's all from me today. This is my project for the 304 CEM Web API development. Thank you.